everybody. I am going to be doing we're going to do some tabletop role playing games today. And specifically, what it's going to be is, um, actually, let me turn the desktop audio all the way up. Because when we do desktop audio, let me turn that off. So there we go. We'll be able to heal the other players better too. So we don't have to worry about that. We're going to be playing a game from Grant Howitt. Grant Howitt is a really good one page, like simple rules. And he had a really good one that I think is going to fit really well into my story. This is what I'm doing because I don't have all my players. I don't even know if I have any players. So, catch me in the chat. If not, I'll tell just overall like what I plan on doing. But I'll have to find it. Where was it? Not Adventure Skeletons. Not just no. Where is it? Not Golden Sea. Big Gate Works. All right, where are you? All right, I think here it is. All right, download. I know I've supported this guy before, so don't judge me that I didn't pay this time. But the idea of this is that you are a Boy Scout and you have to fix this, and you have to like get through like this ancient evil forest. So it's a little spooky. So if you guys catch on to it, know that it's going to be a little bit spooky. There's my wife in the background. So it'll get a little spooky. It'll get a bit spooky. So we'll see. Hopefully all is good with everybody. Alright, I'm going to try not to open a... Hello! Hello, can you hear me? Oh, sometimes I have to go in here and make sure that that's the right one. Alright, give me a second. Voice speakers. Input. Okay, that's right. Broadcast. Okay, Razer. Speech audio controllers. Alright, you should be able to hear me. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? So, this is one of my players. I got something in the Discord. Hold on. Alright. Can you hear me? Hold on. That's all the way up. So that's not being an issue. Alright, so give me a moment, guys, while I get this figured out. You're probably still going to hear me because my audio is going right now. But I'm going to change it to the starting soon, okay? All right. All right. If I do this, is this better? Okay. Well, okay. So what we're going to be doing, so you guys can see on my side, this is going to be a game called Be Prepared. It's a short horror game about camping. Basically, yeah, you got to get out of here. So you know. Can you hear me?
Hello, testing, testing, one, two, three.
Can you hear me? I can hear you.
No, I cannot hear you.
Okay, ha, 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 that's the joke.
I was trying to fix my mic. I don't know if you can hear me though.
Oh, I can hear you. I can I. I can hear you. Okay, let me fix that. All right, let me fix that. All right, audio output source. Oh, gotcha. So you can hear me. Okay. Hey, I am streaming this. So just so you know, we can go look at it later. Um, Crescent, uh, Avery will not be joining us, so it's just me and you. But I figured we could still do something fun, and then we'll tie it to the story. Okay. So I'm gonna drop something in the Discord. Okay. All right. Hold on. Um, and then we will have this actually. I'll have this feed into the game. I haven't put it in yet. Give me a second. All right. All right. Check it out. All right. It's basically a very, very short tabletop RPG game called Be Prepared. So I'm going to change the story a little bit because this one is a story that typically would be about, modern times, 1994, and you were a Boy Scout. But I think it's still going to take place in our fantasy universe in the Sword Coast. So instead of being a Boy Scout, I think you were going to be like the fantasy equivalent, like a green leaf teen. So So you are a green leaf teen. You're working to get some badges. Um, the year is or the equivalent of fantasy 1994. All right, you are a scout on a 3-day bank and holiday weekend camping trip. But the terror is there, waiting in the shadows of the trees. The terror is ancient. It is brackish and reeking. It is hateful. It is the endless midnight sea and the untracked wilderness. It can twist its roost inside people and turn them against one another. It wants to eat you. Can you stop it before it does? That's the only story that goes with this, but you get to make your character. So, right now we are going to do that. I am going to have you roll a D6. All right, 2. So in any particular group, you are known as the sensitive one. Roll me another D6. Another 2. Your companion, who's your traveling partner in this like hiking trip as you're going off into the woods, is a protective older cousin. It's up to you what the cousin's name is, but your partner is an older cousin who kind of watches over you. Bob. Hey, Bob's a good cousin. I mean, he's always watched out for you. You know, that one time he even let you have a cigarette and he didn't tell your parents. He watches after you, man. Um, Roll me another d6, but this one is for me to know. I guess if you're looking at the thick sheet, you'll know. So I guess it doesn't matter. But you are a green teen camper. You're like your parents let you out from Neverwinter. You're gonna go on this big camping trip with the other green teens, and part of it is like you're trying to get some badges while you're out here. So your older cousin's coming with you. He's an Eagle Scout, the equivalent of that, and he's out there. He's trying to help you out and get some badges while you're out there. You're gonna try to get some stuff like knot tying, you know, local knowledge, martial arts badge, those kind of stuff. Yeah, you're essentially a Boy Scout. Yeah. Yep, you're gonna go camping out in some woods. I don't know. I think like 12, maybe 12, 13. Oh, you're younger than Bob. Bob's like 16. All right. All right. So you before you do that, roll me 3d12. These will be the badges that you have already, and it'll kind of determine what skills you have. All right. You got 11, 2, and 12. Okay. So your one of your things is your badges is an orienteering, which is like knowing what direction you're going. You have a badge in survival skills, and you also have a badge in caving, like going spelunking. Or spelunking. Or no, wait. So like no caving. So caving is spelunking. So survival, like caving, and then orienteering, which means like finding what direction you're going in. Mhm. All right. So you're starting out. It's the very beginning of this. You are actually. Let me get some spooky music in this because I think that'll really set the scene here. All right. So it is a you settle down for the night. You kind of go off. You're not too far away from the other green teens, but like you can see that you're all in kind of a big group. It's the first night. Nothing really as much happened yet. You probably have made like camp. Well, packed out some food. Like they got the camp leader has got like all the other kids, and like they're all making food. He's trying to wrangle in probably more of the younger ones. Um, Once you now kind of have your character here. So what's going to happen is now that you have your character, kind of tell me what they're doing with their older cousin right now. He's like, That's a leaf. Don't ask questions. So yeah, he probably sneaks off to the woods to smoke a cigarette and come back, and then he's watching after you. Only one. Only one. Don't tell your parents. Yeah, instantly getting sick. Like, like pretend trying to be cool about it, but you know. Okay, so the way that this game works, so whenever you attempt something dangerous or risky, it's rolling a d6. So we're only using a six-sided dice for this. Um, the higher you roll, the better it is. Um, but what happens is the more you fail, the farther the story progresses. So you kind of need to fail in order for the story to go on. If that makes sense. So it requires you to not do that good. Okay. So so the worse you do, anything between like a 1 and a 5 on a six-sided dice, you will get some type of stress. You'll still might succeed, but you will get stress. Stress is identified as either fear, injury, hunger, exhaustion, trouble, insidious black magic. It's anything that's bad in this game. All right. So when you mark 6 stress is when your character dies. So don't you only it's like the equivalent of having 6 HP. All right. So now that you are going you are it's first night's kind of it's okay. It's not nothing too bad. It's okay. Nothing happens. It's just overall peaceful night. Probably feel a little bit sick from that first cigarette you've smoked, but your older brother, he kind of older cousin, he kind of takes care of you and makes sure that you are doing what you need to do. Um, it's a relatively uneventful night. You wake up and everyone has breakfast. Uh, you are out, having your, baked beans and scrambled eggs, whatever like camp breakfast looks like for you guys. And it is out to the day. This is the day that you're going to try to get some more. You're going to try to go out and get some more patches today. So, what kind of patches do you think that you're going to be working for? So in this game, the ones that you can roll on are athletics, which is like running, caving. There's one for circus skills, which is just interesting. Okay. There's one for yeah, emotional support. I would say so. You have survival skills as one of yours already. You have orienteering, survival skills, and caving. All right, so you're gonna go, go try to like go hit some trees. Well, your older cousin, he goes like, I know a place by a waterfall. You can practice by the waterfall. Yeah, I feel like it's really, we can practice in Tai Chi, really center ourselves, and then we'll work on some martial arts, okay? And maybe, who knows, maybe we'll be in a situation where we get to use it. I don't know. Hey, this is your older cousin. Well, you know what? Your older cousin, hey, your older cousin is here to take care of you, okay? You guys are, he takes you there. You eventually get there. It's way out of the way. Um, you notice that like your older cousin looks a little bit uncomfortable, but he's like trying to keep like a calm face. Uh, I mean, you know what? we found a waterfall. This wasn't the waterfall I was looking for, but wood seems different than the last time I was here. But no, this is a waterfall. Yeah, it looks like there's a little ledge and there's a little stream that it was running by, and the waterfall. It's probably like 10 feet, but as you look inside of it, there is a cave behind it. He looks and he goes, I think, yeah, I think, no, that's cave that happens all the time. You got your caving badge, right? So you know a little bit about caves. You want to? I mean, I haven't got mine yet. I've got this. I only have like, you know, I. You want to help me get work on mine? Hey, listen here, twerp. I don't have all of them yet. I'm about to have all of them. Don't say anything about it. By the end of this trip, I will have all of them. All right. So you go into the cave. It goes back really far back, and it's kind of a little bit dangerous. Like it gets really narrow at some points. Because you are proficient with caving, I'm gonna let you roll 2d6, okay, and pick the highest. All right. So you succeed, but you take one stress. You get through. I think you probably like scrape your arm. Your older brother probably scrapes his arm too, and he's like, "Ah, dude, that's." I mean, these cigarettes. I gotta really start. I gotta really quit. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Here, I got a little cut. He like puts a band-aid on you. He holds up like a little torch to kind of like light the inside of it and put a band-aid on your knee. And then as he lights up the torch, uh, there is a the room lights up. There are bones inside of this cave. I will say make me a survival skills check. Roll with advantage. 2d6. Yeah, you're taking the highest one. All right. You can see at first it's pretty hard to tell. A lot of them are just like not known white bones, but you spot in the corner one of them is a human tooth. Yeah, yeah, little one. What's up? Oh, yeah, that. No, I mean, it might just be a bear's den, like a that hasn't been here in a while. There's no meat on any of these bones, so whatever's here hasn't been around for a little bit. I mean, well, uh, we're in the woods. This stuff, the woods are a dangerous place. You know, know that. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, they said safe, but safe. Safe is a relative term, like buddy. Yeah. What do you want me to tell you? Sometimes there's dead bodies in the woods, and you got to be a little careful. I think we just need to be really quiet right now, and you make a decision. Shh. Um, looking at him, you have the look of this is a an insight that as a little kid, like now that you're finally becoming like 12, 13, you're starting to get like notice things about like the world and stuff. Um, your older cousin is kind of a loser. He's kind of, he's got a lot of zits and stuff on his face. He's really scrawny. He's only like 5'7", so like most of the girls in his class are actually taller than him. Like you notice that he doesn't really talk to anyone except for you, his little cousin. So it's like, ugh, like he doesn't really have a lot of people that he talks to, and it's just like you're realizing that you might be more of like an adult in this situation than what he is. Yeah, yeah. We can just go. We'll go a little farther in the cave. I'll take up the back. Um, so inside the cave, you get a little farther in. Um, it's more like going in. What you're doing? Give me another spelunk or caving check, but with advantage again. So roll 2d6 and take the higher one. Um, you, once again, like you slip and you like pretty sure you twisted your ankle. It hurt really bad. But as you're walking through, you see in the corner, in the far corner, it looks like there's a wooden cage almost, and yeah, it's like a cage made of wood, and inside there is this corpse is a little more fresh. Meaning that it's not all bones. It's mostly rotted, like, but it's a corpse that has like some hair and stuff. It's probably a person that's been dead for about 3 weeks. So it it smells really bad. Yeah, yeah. I think we need to go. Uh, as you do that and you swing your torch around to leave, in the blood in front of the corpse is written, and it says, "In blood, get out." It seems like whoever died here, in their final breaths, they took their blood-stained hand and wrote "Get out" on the floor. Yeah, he's wearing like kind of gray pants and a ripped white shirt. No, no, nothing that he would have. You would probably have a knife on you, being like a Boy Scout equivalent, a green teen. No, there's no name. That he doesn't wear a name badge or have like an ID. You guys start running out. As you guys run out, you are kind of running through the woods as fast as you can. You get here. You're trying to like retrace your steps a little bit. Okay. So what's going to happen is you did that. You are still like your leg is like kind of a little messed up from being in that cave. So it's gonna be. I'm gonna say you were gonna make this one check instead of. You would normally make it with advantage because it's something that you're proficient with. But because you messed up your leg before, I'm gonna say just make a regular one because your kind of body's racked with pain. So just roll me a d6. Okay, so you're clear your head and you were able to find where you are at. You kind of retraced your steps here. Um, because you have taken 2 stress throughout this adventure so far, we are going to go on to Act 2 of this. This is the very beginning. Now it knows where you're at. You guys start to retrace your steps. Oh, it is about. I don't think it has a. It's. I don't think it has a gender. I think it's more of like an ancient elder chore. So it is the forest itself. It sees all. It knows all. Um, as you are going back, you are heading in the right direction for where the camp should be, but the trees look different here. It's not the same forest. Like you can't really be sure. It's almost as if the trees move themselves around. You know it's the direction is right that you're going in, but it doesn't look the same. You besides like the occasional like bird and maybe like the way far off wolf, no, nothing in particular. You do have a very large tree ahead of you though. Yeah, it's a very large tree that if you climbed it, maybe you can get your bearings more and like try to see if you can see the other campers. Pop's like, yeah, yeah, I have my emotional support badge, and I will support you in doing this. I will stand watch for you. Yeah. Oh, I will scream. Don't you worry about it. I'm very good at that. Yeah. So you take your time, go slow, climbing up it. Roll me a d6. Not good. Yeah, I think you got this thing on his, on the run. Yeah, you climb way up there. Matter of fact, way off in the distance, you can see a cabin. You don't spot any of the campers, but you see a cabin here, which means other people. So that's good, right? Okay, so looking at the abandoned cabin, it's like or the cabin that you see way far off. You can look to see that there's one path that looks like it goes way long around, and then there's another path that's not quite as well worn, but it looks like it would be much shorter. But it's kind of a little bit overgrown. You can tell that there's some like not as well taken care of, not as well not even taken care of is the right word because it's not people that are taking care of it. It seems like animals might be trotting the other one more, while this one's not as much used. So did you find anything up there? Maybe. Oh, yeah. That sounds good. It's like voices cracking, trying to maintain being an adult here. Yeah, yeah. We'll go that way. Yeah, it's getting dark, so seems like we're gonna go through some danger either way. But I don't want to spend the night in a tree, so whatever we gotta do, we gotta do. No, it's a health. It's not dead, like to be hollowed out. Okay, yeah. So as you're walking, give me a survival skills check. Roll me with advantage. Gosh dang. Yeah. So in the distance, you do see like there's a tree that is hollow. It might be. Yeah. So as it is, you make a little area in this tree. Um, it's very very small. So like one person pretty much has to stay guard. Another person has to sleep inside, and so you're taking probably like 2 hour shifts. It's really can only fit like one person at a time. It's pretty small, but yeah. So you make a campfire. Um, it's about 3 a.m. Your older cousin has been asleep probably for a little bit longer than the 2 hours, but you're trying to be a good, little cousin and help out, and your eyes you're starting to nod off, and your eyes start to nod, and you kind of lift your head back up. Um, Out in the woods, you see a pair of red eyes as it startles you awake. So yeah, that would be a survival skills. You could assume that's probably either a wolf or something, but the eyes being red is what's not normal. It's probably like 50, about like 30, 40 yards away. So yeah, probably a good distance. Um, you have your torch, like you have a stick in the fire that you can like take out and kind of use as a makeshift thing to maybe scare it off. But um, it's almost imperceptibly moving closer. Like the minute hand on a clock, it is slowly moving towards you. And it's one of those things you don't even realize it's moving closer to you until it's like 5 minutes later, and you realize that it's probably like a good 5 or 6 yards closer, slowly getting closer. 10 more minutes. What? Yes, mom. What? What? Yeah, you guys give me a climb check. And I'm gonna roll for Bob as well too. Climbing you don't have advantage with. No. Yeah. So that one, that is not good. That is some rough stuff you got happening here. You have completely failed. You take 2 stress for that. So now you're at 4 stress. Remembering that once you hit 6, you die. So you are at 4 now. Your brother, like the older cousin, he climbs up first. He kicks a branch and it scrapes his leg pretty bad, but the branch that he kicks breaks, and there's not nothing high enough up for you to get. You were sitting there. You have a fiery stick in one hand and an older cousin higher up in a tree than you, and this thing is now probably a good ten yards away. Hands shaking, you go to a different tree. You can try. I will say that this. Yeah, you are able to do it. You know, once again, like your older brother, the older cousin, you climb up the tree. As you're climbing, your hand goes into the tree bark and rips the tree bark off as you were like frantically climbing. What startles you about this though is that instead of like tree sap or like nothing, blood comes off the tree, and like it freaks you out, and you're like trying to climb even faster now. But you are now safely up this tree. Um, you can see that as you drop the stick to climb it up, it catches part of the forest around you, and it has caused this big fire to kind of spill out, like it landed in some dry leaves, and it seems like it momentarily startled the creature that was slowly stalking you into running away. After about an hour or so, the fire dies down that was around the tree. It didn't ever get that big. It was no more than like a bonfire, but just enough to be big enough to, make it cautious of you. You wake up in the morning. Not even waking up. Honestly, you probably haven't slept that much last night. I would imagine that you probably didn't go to sleep after that being like 3, 4 in the morning. You probably just waited till sunrise in your respective trees, not saying anything. Um, it's the morning time. You guys can continue down the path if you would like. Uh, Bob like looks at you with eyes, but he seems like he's unable to speak. He's just like stares at you, kind of nods, but um, you make your way out to the cabin. Um, it takes a while to get there, especially because you're taking the long route too. But you sit there, you find a place that Bob finally, after like good 3 or 4 hour treks, looks at this and goes, "This space, it's a little more defensible. It might be safer than trees." On the table there is a contraption which you would recognize. They're not super common, but it's a hand crossbow. Would you know how to use it? Um, yeah, I think it's up to you. Uh, yeah. So you might not have used one before, but you know how to use it. You've probably read field manuals before. You know how it works. Yeah. No, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah. I'll climb a tree. As he stutters, he tries to climb. Um, what happens is he goes to grab a branch that he thinks is a branch, and being first he's startled because he realized what he thought was a branch. He looks at it, and it was like you're looking at it, and you know it was a snake the entire time. And he looks at it, and he just grabs onto it, and the snake turns around and bites him in the arm, and he falls from the tree. he is not looking good. He goes, that was a branch. It was a branch when I grabbed it, and then it turned. Um, yeah, sure. So, what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna have you roll a d6 for the first aid. Um, 3. Okay, you are at 5 stress. You were able to bite into it, and you were able to get some of it out, but the wound itself looks like it's getting worse, and you can't remember now if that was something you should have done or you should not have done. And it's not clear. His breathing is getting shallower, and it seems like he is maybe not long for this world. No, it's actually a misconception. It's actually a misconception. It's something you really shouldn't do because you have a chance of poison. It not only doesn't do anything for the wound, but you have a chance of poisoning yourself too. Mm-hmm. uh, as you go, look. Are you said you're looking inside of the cabin? Okay, you leave him inside the cabin, locking the door behind him. Um, as you were sitting inside, you see once again it looks like the corpse of a hunter, but this guy looks a little bit different. Instead of you can tell he's got like you wouldn't know what this is, but it is essentially a handgun. That it's like a medieval type handgun though. It's like a flintlock pistol, and he's got like a bunch of runes and stuff like that he's carved into leather armor on his chest. It seems like he was here trying to take care of whatever was lurking in these woods, but whatever it was got to him first. Um, but he has a journal beside him. As you were looking out in the woods, you read inside the you read the journal inside of it. It's only weak to someone who has killed a loved one. It seems like anyone who hasn't done anything evil in their life is completely immune to it. You probably haven't done any evil yourself. You do have a very sick cousin who's lying on a bed who might die anyway. Yeah. So he had a journal. He had that weapon. Even that weapon has like runes carved on it, but you're not really sure like what they do. And just like some leather armor, the like pieces, like scraps of leather armor, like a shoulder pad, a chest piece. But it looks as if like the shoulder pad and chest piece have like been ripped apart. Like whatever got to him, like ripped through his leather armor, as if it didn't matter. Yeah, and honestly, thinking about it, like you never really caught an eye of the wolf itself. Like it's always in the dark, and it never got like more than 10 feet, like 10 yards away. 10 yards is still a pretty good distance, especially for at night and looking through a fire. You know that it was hunched over and it had eyes like a wolf, but yeah. Yeah. So there, I'd say, like, you mean like looking for like armor pieces? No. It there's multiple directions. Knowing your orienteering, you still know the direction of where the camp should be. Um, your older brother, he or your older cousin, kind of led you in the wrong, like running through the woods from a monster, kind of got you a little bit turned around, but you know what direction you should be going now. And the trees, like, they seem like they're moving when you're not looking at them. And so anyone else who didn't know like cardinal directions might get lost if they're using landmarks. But you are not, I don't think right away. Like, they don't move like super fast. Like, they probably move once again like the minute hand on a clock, and only when you're not looking at them. So a lot of like when you're asleep or when you're not in their immediate vicinity, like they're out of sight of you, they're moving. And so some place that you were at like 20 minutes ago could look different by the time you come back to it. And so you would probably get that feeling by now that like things are different, but like you wouldn't have got the feeling like right away walking into the woods. Just insidious enough to lure you in, but not. But anyway, as you're traveling down the path, you know the cardinal direction of where the camp is supposed to be. Um, you come across, and eventually you get there. You see, I would say you get to the thing yet. You get to a path, and there's like a little rickety bridge. On As you were crossing this rickety bridge, uh, about 10 feet yards behind you, you see the creature once again. And you were in the middle of this bridge, and it is on the other end of the bridge. It is sprinting towards you. I am going to drop a picture of what it looks like in the chat. Yeah. So you realize. So this is our version of it. It's not necessarily what the actual creature. If I looked up the picture of it, it's called the rake. But it's like creepy pasta stuff. But this is our fantasy version. Um, he is on all knees, and you realize that the reason why he seemed like a wolf before is because he's running on all fours at you. And you are midway through the bridge, and you need to run to the other end. Now, you have 5 stress. If you get 6, you die. Okay. What I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you roll survival skills with advantage. Not 6. You, as you cross the thing, you cross it, and I think what you do is this is a pretty deep ravine, and this bridge that covers it. It's running across, you shoot the floorboard in front of it, and the floorboard crashes, makes a hole in the bridge, this rope bridge, and it stumbles and falls off the side, and the rope bridge kind of collapses, and the whole thing falls down like what seems to be 100 feet or so into this deep ravine. Um, it horrible screeching, like your hair stands on the back of your neck as you hear this thing scream for its life, and it seems like you have really. It seems like that you might have defeated this. That it's got to be dead. How could it not be? Um, Another hour. Yeah. As you are coming across, you eventually travel for like another hour, just traveling in the same direction. It's probably even longer than that. It's probably like 3 or 4 hours that you've been traveling. You know that you you're close to it soon though, and eventually, as it is turning night out, around one of the campfires, you see the camp counselor, and he looks at you and gives you a big hug. He's like, "Oh my god, I was so worried about you." Yeah, he's in a cabin. Yeah, we'll go. We'll go get him. Um, as you pass out in this guy's arms, he looks down at you. His eyes look just like the monster's. I also didn't say that you didn't see any kids. I described it as you see one man. Hmm. So I think what we can do, yeah. So this guy named Grant Howitt writes a bunch of these one-page RPG systems. So like all of the rules in the whole story for this whole thing comes off one page, like a single page, and it's just a lot of improv. So but that all came off of one page. Like the whole thing with like all the, I dropped it in the chat if you wanted to look at it. The guy's name is Grant Howitt. Um, he makes a lot of little things like this. He's the guy that made Honey Heist for Critical Role. Uh huh. So Honey Heist is another really funny one. He made one called The Witch is Dead, which is hilarious. Which I'm totally down to play anytime, just because the whole idea of it is like there are some witch hunters out who are like, I made you play The Witch is Dead before. Actually, we played it as part of our last campaign. Remember when you guys were animals? Yeah, I just took that story and made it into the campaign. But normally that's like a one shot that people do. And it just is like, oh hey, there's a witch anyway. There you go. Yeah. So I will say, I think that I am going to include this monster somewhere into the campaign as like a, yeah. I bet if I looked up, I bet someone's made a stat block for it. I'm gonna Google it real quick, and if not, I'll make one myself. All right. So actually, looking at this, it is. Oh, never mind. That's a character class. That's not what I want. Yeah, I'm trying to find one for a rake. Yeah, like I'm seeing like a lot of like half. Yeah. Anyway, is the rake an SCP? Yeah. Oh, it is. Yeah, it's SCP 1847. All right. So. All right, I'm gonna look that up. Break 1847 stat block. If not, I can make one up. I will make something. That's definitely gonna be. All right. I will see you later, man. Yeah, of course. Yeah, look forward to seeing this thing in your nightmares tonight. All right, I'll see you next Friday. Bye. All right. And here we go, guys. And then, sometimes you have a rake and it messes things up. And